Kamen Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review of Kyuranger episode 7. That happened. So that totally threw me off. Okay, episode 7, and featuring like 4 seconds of talk about whatever Ex-Aid's stupid crossover bit was. So let's get that over with right off the bat, because it's funny because I actually got numerous comments on the videos and on Twitter and stuff, people saying you should review Ex-Aid this week and review them together or whatever because of the crossover. Let me just tell you, this was barely a crossover. This was a cameo. Like, on top of their crossovers being usual trash, this was like even more than usual. Like, in Ex-Aid, basically it was Lucky showing up going, "Yo, Lucky!" And then fighting with Ex-Aid for 4 seconds. They like high-fived or something and then he left. And then in this week's, it was some stupid shocker squid showing up, and then the commander just sent down an Ex-Aid Q-Tama because reasons, and Ex-Aid was summoned with a Q-Tama. It was the stupidest thing, stupidest Toku nonsense, and he summoned him, and they're like, "Oh, hey, I'm Emu, and I'm Lucky," and then they did the, like, you know, thing, and then they left. It was 100% unnecessary. I know it's to promote the film, but I think that's garbage. Like, I mean, I get that it's, like I said, marketing, but it's been better done in the past. Like, if you watch any of my stuff, you know I'm over all these crossovers. I think that the copious amounts of them have made them not special anymore. I used to honestly look forward to these when we get them, and now it's just like another Tuesday. And on top of getting too many of them, they're also not well done. I can't think of one that's been good in years. But they've done these little mini ones in the show where it's the Rider and Sentai, and it usually promotes the film. And they haven't all been great, but at least some of the past ones had some moments I kind of liked. And honestly, if they could just do it like the old ones, where we just get this one meeting between the Sentai and Rider for a crossover episode, and then not do these trash Taisen movies, I would be fine with that. Sort of just like basically the annual team up between the previous Sentai and the current one. Just do one dual episode that teams up Sentai and Rider, do it well, and then don't worry about all these overblown garbage films. But that's all beside the point. But my point with that was, for like a long-winded point, was that it's been better done before, and they sort of integrated their meeting and a little tiny tidbit of what was going to be happening with the film. And this honestly didn't give you really any indication that I thought was very obvious of like, oh, you need to go see the film, other than that shocker guy was there. I think that the same purpose for promoting the film in these shows can be just as easily done with the commercials that they air, and, you know, putting scenes from the movie in the openings and whatnot. I think that could be done just as well. But bottom line, it was pointless. If you don't watch one or the other, there's really no need to watch, you know, like if you don't watch Ex-Aid, you don't need to go watch it for this. You're not missing out on anything, vice versa. So that was stupid. But regardless of that, this honestly wasn't a very good episode of Kyuranger, to be honest. Probably my least favorite. It was a really stupid plot about a monster that stole people's birthdays, which honestly I think is the least threatening Toku villain thing I've ever seen happen. Second, or like, with the second being when they shut the air condition off in Ghost Ager. I thought it was really dumb. There was like no threat to it. It just seems stupid. Like, it's not that threatening that you wouldn't be able to celebrate your birthday. Maybe because I don't celebrate mine, I just don't care. But I don't know. Like, I thought it was stupid. They sort of had something with Naga there, like, that could have been a nice plot between the two, but mainly it just came off as Naga being creepy. It's just, I didn't like it, and, like, it was even worse this week, coming off how awesome the movie was, to go back to Tokels? Why am I saying Tokels, guys? But it was hard after how awesome the movie was to go to back to Toku's brand of nonsense storytelling. So it was like, on top of me just not caring for this episode in general, like seeing better things and then having to deal with this trash again wasn't the best. So it's kind of unfortunate. There wasn't a whole lot else going on. The only other thing really was Stinger updating them on those generals that he encountered and whatnot, and they did interrupt the battle and stuff like that, which kind of changed things up a smidge, but that was really about it. Not a whole lot going on there. I wanted to talk about real quick one thing that doesn't necessarily have to do with this episode specifically, but, you know, the show in general, where, you know how they do the Q-let thing, which I hate that they do the dance every time, but that's side note, is that it's kind of funny, because, like, Lucky's always going to be drawn in it, because he makes up the core of the mecha, and it's kind of funny that way. But also I was thinking, you know, he wouldn't always have to go if we could either forego an episode without a mech battle. Honestly, I like the Megazords and stuff as much as the next guy, but I don't need to see a mech fight every episode. I would be happy if we had an episode that we left out Lucky and we didn't see them. Or, it would be cool to get an episode where they manage to take out a villain by using the individual mech. Especially since Gold and Silver have little mini robots. I think it would be cool. I mean, I don't think they would do it all the time in a regular rotation, but it would be great across the course of the series if we could get like a couple episodes where they didn't have a battle at all with the mech, or we just use the individual ones. It would be awesome, because I was thinking about that. I'm like, well, Lucky's always going to have to go, and I'm like, well, actually, that's only because of their rule of always having to have the generic mech battle. So I think that would be kind of nice. Mainly, I think, actually, the individual fights, just because I like when they change things up from the way the mech fights were, which is one of the reasons I like Go Busters, is that the mech fights were quite different, and they were more entertaining than just kind of paint-by-numbers stuff. But anyway, I just thought about that in this episode, because when they did the drawing, I always think of how Lucky's never not going to be in it. But anyway, as for the episode, overall, like I said, weakest episode, I would probably give it a 5. I'd maybe give it a little more generous if it wasn't for the crossover stuff being shoved in on top of an already pretty average episode. But next week looks to be pretty interesting because we're already getting into like the 6th Ranger stuff. You know what I mean? Like we're with like Commander and stuff like that very soon. Given the fact that these two are being introduced so soon, I definitely feel like we'll be getting at least one more Ranger beyond Commander and Sky Blue. But so at least that's something to look forward to. And like I'm still okay with Kyuranger. Like I'm not hating it or anything. So I'm just hoping that this is, you know, we don't hit a huge rough patch and this is just, you know, a par for the course bad episode like any series has. Anyway, that's about it. Until next time, make sure the Easy Podcast at writersmanagedrumbles.com, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, Dawson Rider, signing out.